Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Shurya, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Vijay. So
Yeah,
let's get started.
yeah,
I thought someone else will also be joining, I thought, but it looks like they didn't show up today.
okay.
That's all right. Let's get started. So
Yep.
today I'll be discussing about the introductory part. The programming thing we can start from the next week when once the actual programming part. For today, we will be doing this introductory part. In this session, I'll be explaining to you like what Python is, and we'll also look into basics of Python.
Yeah.
So this is today's agenda. Like I'll brief you about the history of Python, and then I'll tell what Python is, and what are its features and applications, and where is it exactly used in industry, and also the average expected pay in this field. And later, if time permits, we can also look into the installation part. And then I'll walk you through the course curriculum.
Yeah. Yeah, Shurya. Hello. Hello. Yeah, hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, Shurya, I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I just had a power cut. I had to connect with my mobile internet. So, yeah,
Oh,
sorry for
okay.
that.
No problem.
So, let's just continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'll just walk you through all these things in today's session. Uh,
Yeah.
so, yeah. So, basically, what is Python? What do you understand by that? So of course, it's a programming language that's there. But what's so special about it? Like why everyone's, like just a second. I'll just turn off my WhatsApp. So yeah,
Yeah.
am I audible to you?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so Python is like one of the most widely used programming languages. Like if you consider like the current industry, they are like everyone's like planning to switch to or are already programming in Python. Because it has got so many features in it, which we will be discussing in the coming slides. So basically, Python is considered to be the fastest growing language in terms of developers, libraries, and applications that it can be used for. So the applications can be like machine learning or artificial intelligence or web development. Anything that you can think of, Python has always got you covered. Uh, so that's the major reason why everyone is considering Python. And also, it is another major reason why it is trending these days is its syntax is very simple and easy to implement. So what do I mean by this is the syntax is very much user friendly, like more like human like language. So that's why most of us are preferring to switch to that language. So when we know that there's a language that is very simple and both in readability and in even it is easy to write, then obviously people would be preferring that, isn't it? So that's one of the major reason why Python is trending these days. So just a second. So yeah, sorry for that. I just got the power back, so I was just switching to my Wi-Fi.
No
So
problem.
yeah, so these are the two reasons, and the third reason being it is open source. So what do I mean by open source? Like for the installation part, for the interfaces, you don't have to pay anything. Like anyone from anywhere in the world can freely install and play with the Python code in the interface. So these are the major factors why everyone is planning to switch to this language. And also Python can run on Mac, Windows, and Unix systems. So this was about like what Python is and why is it like trending these days. That was about that. But how did it get started in the first place? Like what was the motive behind starting this language? So it would be a little interesting to know about the history of Python. So basically, the development of Python started out as a hobby for its creator Guido van Rossum in the year 1991. So he wanted to prepare a language that was both beautiful to look at and easy to learn. That was his sole purpose. He just wanted a language, whose syntax would be easy to read and write. So everything was good, but the language went on, but it could not receive much recognition. The reason being, Python is slower than other languages as compared to Java, C, C++. So it didn't receive much recognition until past, let's say, 5 to 10 years. And that's also because with the rise of machine learning and artificial intelligence, Python has come into the spotlight because it makes work more productive and much more easy. How is it making productive and all of that will be you'll be getting to know in the classes as I teach you certain modules that Python provides. So because of the Python has got something called libraries. This is the extra feature that you'll find in this language. What if you are not aware about libraries? In simple terms, libraries are nothing but it is a place where you'll find it is collection of functions. Each function cater to one job. For example, if you're someone who's interested in developing web applications, then Python libraries, there are like two libraries called Django and Flask. So if you excel that, if you know all the functions present in that libraries, then you can easily, go into the web development side. Or if you're someone who's looking into data science or data analysis, then we have Python has some libraries called NumPy, Pandas, Seaborn, Matplotlib, so on. Like these are some of the libraries that cater to that specific domain. Similarly, for automation, we have something called requests. For game development, we have something. So we have like so many libraries that Python provides for us. Like that's why it is, like it's so versatile that it caters to different domains. You name any domain and Python has got some of the other libraries that are specifically designed to do task in that domain. So yeah, so the history of Python was that it was created just because to make the language simple and easy, but it didn't get much recognition until the rise of machine learning and artificial intelligence, because it is a bit slower than other languages. So coming to the next part, like you might have a question that, like I said, it's a bit slower than other languages. Like you might have a question that why is it still popular? If other languages are faster than Python, then why are we still preferring it? So before getting into that, before answering that question, let me tell you one thing, the parameters that are affecting the speed and the performance of Python. So we'll look into the parameters that are affecting the speed and performance of Python. So these are the parameters. Are you able to understand so far so good? Or you have
yes,
any?
Aishwarya. Yeah, I can understand.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's continue. So these three are the parameters that are affecting the speed and performance of this language. Let's look into the first parameter. So it says it is a high-level programming language. So what do I mean by that? So let me explain you this. Sorry. Yeah. So when I say that it is a high-level programming language, that means first let me tell you this way. Basically, the languages are categorized into two types: high-level and low-level. So all the programming languages are categorized into these two types. So what's with this high level is the Python, which comes under this high level language. It is nothing but its syntax is very much like it's very much user friendly. That means the syntax is both like, you know, like it is easy to read and write when compared to low language. If you are aware, do you have any? Is it like completely new to you?
Aishwarya?
Vijay?
Yeah, Aishwarya. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello? I can hear you, Aishwarya.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
So
you.
are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Aishwarya.
Do you have any experience? Okay, 1 second. Do you have any experience in the programming language?
Oh,
Or
yeah,
is
yeah,
this
I do have. Yeah.
okay? You do have. So you must be knowing about machine language. Like, have you heard of it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So
Compiled one.
basically, right, correct, exactly. So basically, since you are a little bit aware of it, so machine language comes under low-level language. So machine language is very difficult to read and write because it is very, you know, like the syntax is very difficult to read and write. It's not as easy as Python, the syntax that is. So because of this, it has to take care of, I mean, like to make Python in a way that, you know, that is both readable and writable, like easily you can read and write. To make it that way, what the creator did is he internally took care of complex functionality like memory management. Unlike C++, to process those, it takes time. So if you are making something available, like let's say if you're making syntax easier, then you have to do some trade-off, right? Like some kind of, you know, if you're making the syntax so easy, then internally it should, you know, take the processing time would be more, because internally it has to take care of complex functionality. But in case of low level language, the syntax is they didn't, you know, had this idea of making the syntax easy or anything. So here it doesn't have any overload of any processing, you know, extra functionality to take care of. Here they are doing the trade-off with the simplicity, so that's why it requires external, you know, like complex functionality to be taken care of. So this is one of the reason why it is, Python is slower than other language. Are you with me?
Yes, Aishwarya.
Hello. Yeah, you're able to hear, right?
Yes, very much.
Yeah. So
Aishwarya, you have any contact number?
You can coordinate it with Shashi. Yeah,
Okay.
he'll tell you the contact details.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the first parameter. The second being, as you know, what is an interpreted and what is a compiled language. But still, let me brief you through it. So basically, again, programming languages are categorized as interpreted and compiled. So languages like Java, C, C++, they come under compiled language. They make use of something called compiler. And Python, on the other hand, is considered to be an interpreted language. Here, Python makes use of an interpreter. So what's the difference? So how is it, making Python slower than other language? So let me take an example. Let's say you have a task and you have like 5 lines of code. And let's say you have an error in line number 2 and line number 5. So here, in case of Python, like I said, it makes use of an interpreter. So how it works is, it basically works from left to right, line by line. That's how it executes. So here, as soon as it sees an error in line number 2, it will just simply come out of the loop and give us an error message that you have so and so error in line number 2. So until and unless we rectify that error, it will not execute the following lines. It will not look into line number 3, 4, or 5. So as and when it encounters an error, it will simply come out of the loop and notify us about that error. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah,
Sure.
sometimes I am getting like I'm getting confused, like if I'm audible to you or not, because like I would keep asking you that just to
No problem.
check
No,
if you're,
as soon as I see some problem, I immediately chat.
yeah, that tell me in the chat box. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's a lag, so I might not be able to hear your voice. So yeah, that's how interpreter works. But on the other hand, the compiler, what it does is, let's say the same task and the same code you have written in Java, and again you have an error in line number 2 and 5. Then in Java, how it works is, or let's say C or C++ or any compile language, it will execute all the lines of code at once. And at once, it will be showing all the error message. Like you have an error in line number 2 and you have so-and-so an error in line number 5. So all the error messages will be shown at once. So it is saving lot of time in a way. Because in case of interpreted language, as and when it sees an error, it will come out of the loop, and until we rectify it, it will not execute the rest of the lines. So this is an extra overload, like overhead for us. So that is another factor why it is, Python is slower than other language. The third reason being, Python is dynamically typed language. So again, we have something called dynamically typed language and statically typed language. All these Java, C, C++, they come under statically typed language. So what is this is like, it's like, for example, let's say you have a variable called A. So for now, if you don't have, if you don't understand what a variable is, for now, just, understand it like a container which stores values. Basically, this is a container that would store any value, like let it be int or float or character or string or anything that you want to store. It basically acts like a container. So let's say I have a variable called A and I want to store a value which is 1. This is of which type? It is an integer type, right?
Yeah, integer. Yeah.
Yeah. So in case of Java or C++, you have to write something like this. Int A, and then you have to give A is equal to 1. So that is That means the compiler, we have to tell the compiler that this is whatever the value this variable will be storing, it will be of integer type. If you have something like 1.1, you have to say, you have to write float. Float a is equal to 1.1. So whatever a value we are giving to the variable, it is a hard and fast rule that you have to mention the type of the value being stored in the variable. This is in the case of statically typed language. But in the dynamically typed language, like I said, the whole purpose of creating Python was to make its syntax easy. So here we don't have this extra overhead. We can just simply write a is equal to 1. As soon as the interpreter sees this value, it will understand that this is an integer type. If you give a is equal to 1.1, the interpreter will understand that this is float. How it works is, to make this possible, it will internally look into a table of data types like int, float, string, and it will match this one with the available data types. So it will internally do all the this matching thing, like it will internally find which data type this is, and it will understand that this is a float type. You don't have to write your float or int or anything. You just give the value to the variable, and you can leave it to the interpreter to understand that this is of float type. So to make this possible, internally it has to take care of this. Like internally it has to check whether this is int or float or char. So that's why this is again the third parameter that is contributing to this, why Python is slower than other languages.
So,
Am I clear?
so Aishwarya, so basically, yeah. So basically, depending on
Yeah.
the value, Python assigns the integer, data type, right?
Yeah, see, as soon as if you have, like, say a is equal to, let's say 2, okay, let's say 3, then as soon as it sees this 3, and after that, if it does not have any decimal value like point, then it will understand that this is an integer type. So like I said, interpreter works from left to right? So it will see a, and as soon as it sees equal to operator, then it will understand that a is a variable, and we will be going to assign some value to it. And as soon as it moves forward and sees 3, then it will understand that this is an integer type. That's how it will work. Am I clear?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
So moving ahead. So these were the parameters why Python is slower than other language. But still our question remains unanswered. Like, okay, these are the parameters why it is slower, but still why Python is, considered despite of it being slow. Let's look into this. Why is Python still so popular despite of it being slow? So when I'm saying that Python is slower than other languages, I didn't mean that it will take hours or minutes or days or weeks of time for it to execute a task. The difference is only in milliseconds. For example, let's say if it takes, let's say like a rough example, like let's say if it takes like 10, the same thing, it can be done in like, it will just take 10 point something, or the difference is basically in milliseconds. That's how, that is what I meant when Python is slower than other language. So basically the difference is only in milliseconds. So because of this, most of the developers don't really care about that, because it doesn't hurt them much if it's only in milliseconds. And the second reason being, like I said, Python is very much easy to read and write, and also Python programs are Python programs takes very less time to develop, as Python codes are 3 to 5 times shorter than Java codes. So it is very easy to produce more number of tasks when you code it in Python, because Python codes are like 3 to 5 times shorter than Java. For example, if you have a task and you have done it in Java and it took like 10 lines of code for you to finish the task, the same task if you perform in Python, it would take like somewhere around 5 to 7. So it's when you know that a language can be developed fast, using a language a task can be done fast, then people would be preferring that language. And anyways, the difference in execution time is only in milliseconds. So they're okay to compromise on that and take up this language. Whatever I've discussed, these are like minute, these are like two factors, but the important and the major factors why the major factors that is making Python so popular is, the factors are that like I said, Python is an open source language. So that is also a major factor why people are choosing Python, because it is free of charge. So it is free and open, and the developers can share, copy and change it. Like you can break the code and you can make the code, whatever it is, you can do it all for free. You don't have to pay for any license. There's no such thing in Python, in case of Python. And also, Python can be used to make almost anything. It is so versatile, like I just said. It can be used to make almost anything, like GUI applications, web applications, mobile apps, AI, ML algorithms. Anything you want to make, Python will always have a way to do it. So because of its versatility, it is again popular, because in every domain it can be used. And why is it so versatile? What made it so versatile? Because of its availability of various libraries. Like I just said, it has got vast number of libraries, and as in they are nothing but a set of functions. Each library will cater to one specific function or one specific task. Like I said, Django and Flask are two libraries among several libraries available in Python, which can be used for developing web applications. Similarly, pandas, numpys can be used for data pre-processing. So on. There are so many libraries available. Because of this is like major reason why Python is popular. Because of its availability of various libraries, it is so versatile. It can cater to different domains. So are we good so far?
Yeah, Aishwarya. Yeah, I understood.
Vijay,
Yeah, Aishwarya, I could understand whatever you said.
can you let me know in the chat box? Are we good so far? Oh, okay. So moving ahead, this is a small example that will explain you. One second. I think we'll have to reconnect, because it's showing that we have just 8 minutes left and it will get disconnected. Anyways, yeah,